I choose this photograph named Photo Respiration Breath Graph number 22, and it was created by Tokihiro Sato in 1988. When I saw Tokihiro Sato's work for the first time, I was fascinated by his work. I like light painting photography very much. This work of art is definitely relevant to the history of photography. The history of light painting photography can be traced back to 1914, when Frank Gilbreth and his wife, Moller Gilbreth, used small light bulbs and a camera that opened the shutter for a long time to track movement trajectories of clerks and workers. Man Ray also contributed to the history of light painting photography. After the invention of photography in 1839, people immediately realized that photography can do things that other methods have never done before. It can be accurately and reliably preserve images of the world. The new technology not only shows its magic but also has some limitations. For example, in a street photo taken using silver plate photography, the bustling streets looks empty and the walking horses have no heads. Due to the long exposure time required to capture the image, no moving objects can be seen. Tokihiro Sato turned the shortcomings of early photography into advantages. Although he moved in front of the camera and used light to record his movement, the photographer could not be seen in the long exposure photos. His photos are as amazing as Daguerre's early experiments by using the unique way of still photography to depict movement and using basic characteristics of light as the main element. Sato makes full use of the past and present characteristics of photography to create. Using these two methods, Sato carefully and methodically recorded the trajectory of him and Hikari. Long exposures can only capture strong point-like or linear-like light, which is formed as the photographer passes through the entire space, and Sato himself will not be photographed. In fact, no moving objects can be seen during the long exposure. The waves hitting the rocks will turn into water mist. The lovely Tokyo streets will seem to be empty. Tokihiro Sato was born in Japan in 1957. After graduating from high school, he was admitted to Tokyo University of the Art and determined to become a sculptor. In his sculpture creation, Sato hammered and welded steel and iron to show the fluidity of order and light. For Sato, the rhythmic, repetitive beating of metal is a physical creation process, which is more important than the result of sculpture. After completing the sculpture course, Sato was not satisfied with the expression of vitality as an art form of sculpture. In 1987, Sato began to incorporate photography into sculpture. He used a long time exposure and a small flashlight to draw light around the statue, which reflected the shape of the statue and the light trails. The combination of light and time has given Sato great happiness, and the photos he created are full of his desire to express life and breathe existence. He began to shoot more and more and finally made his tentative light of painting, a series of works that continue to this day. The series has surpassed the shooting of single statues and expanded to the realm of nature. Sato believes that he is neither a sculptor nor a photographer because the limitations of the two that he feels did not give him space to integrate these two techniques. Photography is always just a way to convert three-dimensional space into two-dimensional images. Sato specifically emphasizes this difference and calls it perspective difference. His behavior across the entire viewing range, running, swimming, breathing, sweating, and this natural characteristic is very important to him. His body travels through time and space and exists in photos that are the key to his creation and understanding of photos. For example, when creating works on the coast, in order to make the light trail cover a large space within the set exposure time, Sato had to climb the volcanic rock, wading or swimming in the waves, and the turbulent waves often made it difficult for him to control the mirror accuracy of direction. Sato likes the kind of work and calls this series that is still being created photo breathing or breathing diagram because the photos record people's experiences.